Thank you for tuning in to our 2025 Emergency Management Video Focus Series for Home Care. Welcome to Part 2, focusing on outdoor air quality, where we'll talk about how to plan and what to do when the air around us is unhealthy. Hello to all the home care patients, caregivers, and providers. I'm Carol Dio from the New York State Association of Healthcare Providers, or HCP. Please remember that this short video is just an overview to get you started in planning for hazards. Use this information together with the plan you have made with your home care provider. HCP thanks the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, who provided the funding for this important project. Now let's dive in and help you learn what to do if the air quality where you live, work, and play becomes unsafe. In the next few minutes, we'll help you understand why the air outside might be unhealthy. We'll talk about how you can decide what your personal risks are when air quality is bad, and how important it is to have a plan to stay healthy. You'll learn how to reduce your risk and stay safe and healthy during times of smoky or polluted air. Finally, you'll see a short list of what to do, along with resources that will give you more detailed, trusted information. Every cell in our bodies needs oxygen to do its job. When we get less oxygen, we have less energy to run our bodies and live our lives. Some of our organs, like the brain, the heart, and the muscles we use to move every day, need lots of oxygen for fuel. Without a good oxygen supply, we can have serious health problems. When we breathe smoky or polluted air, it can hurt our noses, throat, and lungs. Dirty air can even harm our eyes and skin. When pregnant people don't have clean air, it can hurt their babies. Climate, especially our changing climate, upsets the natural balance of the air we breathe. Ozone is a unique form of oxygen that's usually very high in the atmosphere, and it protects us from the sun. It is not the same as the oxygen we need to live. When pollution makes ozone near the ground, that is harmful smog. Weather events can pollute the air by stirring up pollutants and ozone. Wind then spreads them to other places. Toxins, mold, and germs in floodwater can also contaminate the air. Watch video 3 in this series for tips about protecting yourself in a flood. There are now more frequent wildfires due to the changing climate. Some of these are very large and burn for many days. That is a lot of smoke going into the air we breathe, and it can be carried by air currents for hundreds of miles. The big health problem with wildfire smoke is that it doesn't just burn our eyes and nose. The smoke also has tiny particles in it that can go into our lungs and even go into our bloodstream. You can imagine that this can cause all sorts of serious health problems. Air pollution comes from burning fuels for the things we need. We're all familiar with the air pollution from cars and factories. But there are other kinds of air pollution, like toxins from certain industries and harmful chemicals from accidental spills. Now let's talk about your unique risks of harm from poor air quality, so you can make a plan to protect yourself when needed. If you have breathing problems already, you probably know that dirty air can make that worse. Those with heart or circulation diseases can have bad effects when oxygen in air is low. Problems with your immune system from an illness or treatment like chemotherapy makes it easier for you to get an infection. This is even worse when air quality is not good. Pregnant people can also suffer effects from contaminated air when oxygen in air might be low or when toxins in air are high. Besides health problems, there are other things unique to each person that can increase their risk from pollution and other things affecting air quality. You may even have more than one of these risk factors, making poor air quality even more dangerous for you. Older and younger aged people suffer more when the air they breathe is not clean. People living near highways or smokestacks will be exposed to pollution for long periods of time. Likewise, those who work outdoors can't get away from low air quality, and some workers breathe toxic fumes at their jobs, increasing the risk of harm. Studies have shown that for many reasons, people of color and those with lower incomes have higher risk of illnesses from pollutants and toxins in our air. It's important for you to have a plan. Sign up for alert services so you can get notifications quickly on your phone. Make a plan with your caregiving team so you can be aware and know what to do when there are problems with air quality. Monitor conditions. They can change very quickly. Have supplies for at home and a go bag for if you need to leave. Stay indoors and seal off outside air as best you can. Be sure to monitor your health as instructed and report to your care team as often as possible. Their job is to keep you healthy. We talk about alerts from your provider in all of these videos because it is a very important part of staying safe. Never ignore alerts from your care providers. They're the ones who help you make a plan when conditions around you are not safe. They know your risks and what your needs are. You trust them with your health every day, and you must continue to trust them during an emergency. You might receive text messages or phone calls with instructions or updates. They might even call just to check in to see how you're doing during a hazardous event or situation. Be sure to answer them and always ask for help if you need it. Check back in with them often, especially if you are forced to leave your home to stay safe. Always keep current contacts in your home care agencies or other providers' records. There are ways to protect yourself when the air outside might be dangerous to breathe. Of course, it's best to stay inside with windows and vents closed. When using an air conditioner, always use the recirculate function to avoid sucking in air from outside. Use an air cleaner with a special HEPA filter, which most of them have these days. Spend your time mostly in the room with the filter. Talk to your care providers about getting a filter if you don't have one. Burning wood, oil, and gas can affect your indoor air quality. Avoid using these types of fuel when your house is buttoned up from outside air. Do not rely on masks to protect you from impure air. Covering your nose and mouth with a mask can interfere with breathing, so they are only for use outdoors for bad air quality days. Even outside, ordinary dust masks don't work for the fine particles we talked about in wildfire smoke. Special masks like N95s need to be properly fitted by a trained person. They also make it harder to breathe. Those with health problems will likely need to take extra care during times of poor air quality. Your caregivers may want to do extra monitoring of your breathing and blood pressure, for example, or they may instruct you to check these frequently yourself. Your care instructions might change. Be sure to follow any new directions from your providers and be extra careful with oxygen use. Be sure to immediately report to your caregiver if you feel unwell in any way so they can help you stay as healthy as possible. If you have symptoms like a racing heart, more trouble breathing, or you're feeling dizzy, get help immediately. Sometimes the air outside can be so unsafe, you will be instructed to leave your home to go somewhere with clean air. These instructions might come from local officials like fire or police, or your caregivers might strongly recommend you leave your home. Remember that you have a plan for this. Trust that they only have your health and safety in mind, and that it will only be temporary. Check out video 1 in this series for information on what to do when you have to leave home for your safety. We talked about a lot of things, so here is the short list of the top things to keep in mind when the air quality where you live is not healthy. Always have a plan in place with your caregivers. Monitor trusted resources to be aware of the air quality. It can change fast. Avoid breathing the impure air from outside. Be aware of how you feel and report to your care team so you can get help quickly. Whether you stay home or move to a clean air site, always stay in touch with your caregivers in your personal network. Here are some trusted resources for information that can help you plan and get through those times when the air around you is unsafe. The Air Now website is a great source for up-to-date information about the conditions in your area and has a lot of educational materials to help you plan. We talked about signing up for alert services, and you can learn about those on the last few slides. Resource links are on the very last slide of this video. We hope you found this short video helpful and you learned some new tips to be aware and prepare for air quality issues in your community. Please contact us with comments and suggestions for future programs. The next slide shows a great air quality chart from Air Now that will help you understand your risks. Let the video keep running to see alert information, the list of emergency alert services, and links to resources. And be sure to check out the other videos in our 2025 series. They focus on flooding and what to do when you have to leave home in an emergency. Last year's emergency management series is also a great place to start learning about risks and planning. The link to those videos is on the last slide. Thank you.